Hello, friends and family. All right, so I had my first No-Gi Jiu-Jitsu class this week, and this video is in response to the question of how did it go. So, briefly, I'll describe for those that don't know what Jiu-Jitsu is or No-Gi. Well, actually, if you don't know what Jiu-Jitsu is, you got to find out yourself. But No-Gi is like so Gi Jiu-Jitsu is where you're wearing the traditional East Asian style, like the Japanese martial arts uniform, like that bathrobe looking uniform. Looks like they call it a gi, but you can grab the collar, you can grab the sleeve, you can grab the pant legs. That's like regular jiu-jitsu, which is applicable to like a street fight because everyone's wearing clothing, right? And you can grip onto stuff. No-gi jiu-jitsu, you're wearing like these really tight fit clothing, and it's supposed to simulate like kind of like MMA fighting, where there's no clothing to grab onto. So you're grabbing limbs like wrists and elbows and ankles and whatever, right? So I tried my first one of those, and it was tough, but it was really fun. And so the tough part was like, I found it like it was really hard for me to breathe because I didn't know when I was safe. Like I always felt like I couldn't relax because I don't know the positions well enough to know what the options are for no-gi. And so that was kind of fun, right? Like, I mean, breathing hard was difficult, but it was still like in a fun learning type way. I was very much a novice at this, and I acknowledged it, and I knew I'm familiar with the people in the class because I train gi jiu-jitsu with them. But in this class, essentially, I'm a white belt, right? And so they were taking care of me more than they were competing against me, or yeah, like us learning together. There was definitely a imbalance of who was doing what. So my training partners, usually we'd learn together, or they would try to beat me. In this case, they did a little bit less of that, so they can kind of help me catch up. Which is nice, of course. Like, another reason that I think those guys are, like, really nice and cool, including the instructors, everybody. There's another thing that happened where instead of just the instructor teaching us, we had a little bit of, like, almost like a roundtable discussion of should you do this here, and what are the rules for tournament-style jiu-jitsu. And it was almost a back and forth where there was a little bit of a disagreement, like a nice, constructive disagreement with the instructor, and that was different because it allowed the advanced guys to be advanced instead of just having to take care of the really like the real rookies of jiu-jitsu, right? So I was listening. I was a fly on the wall for that discussion. Excuse me. But that was a nice thing too. There were no kids or females around, so they started cursing a little bit, which, like I didn't really partake in, but like I didn't mind it either because it was an environment where men can be men, Not to say that women are not allowed in no-gi jiu-jitsu, but it was, it seems to tailor more, or at least that day that I was in class, they allowed themselves to kind of be meatheads a little bit, like arguing, and they like put the music on, and they were cursing a little bit, and it was kind of, it was refreshing, right? So yeah, so actually the disagreement and the conversation, I want to get into that too, but I'll probably do that in a separate video because this is getting lengthy. But I do want to say this about my first time. What I really liked about it was that I know I'll never get to do the first time part again, and so yeah, it was tough. I was learning. It was welcoming, but I know that like from now on, I'm never gonna get to experience that first time feeling for this activity. And I like that first time feeling in a lot of the things I do, right? It's like your first kiss, or the first time you hold hands with a girl, or your first time, or my first time in the Navy, or my first time at a new job, or whatever, right? Whatever, good or bad, there's nothing like your first time. And I can think of something specific. I'll say this real quick and then I'll wrap it up. Something specific is I remember when I went skydiving for the first time. I didn't get the video, right? And I'm like, oh man, that sucks. I wish I would have got the video because it can capture everything that I experienced that day. And so the next time I went skydiving, I got the video to try to recapture that. And the video was nice, but in the video, I could really tell that it wasn't my first time doing it. Like, there's something about the thrill of like almost like the annoying thrill of a first timer that you can't recapture again. And it's something that I saw in my skydiving video. It's something that I felt in my first No-Gi BJJ Class. And yeah, so for those that are listening, I would say, like, think back to your first time in any activity that you like enjoy doing or don't enjoy doing, and think back to what that was like, and whether it was good or bad or whatever. I wonder if you agree or disagree with me that first time feeling will probably never happen again for that activity. So that was it.